Hello and welcome to Estate Media right here. Of course, it's my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, I would implore you to please kindly subscribe now. What is going on in the Nigerian polity? Trust me, there's quite a lot going on. And that's basically why I'm here to give you an update or a better understanding of what is going on. Just yesterday, the court gave a ruling, specifically in Rivers State, that the application that is meant to come to the state should be stopped. Now, a lot of Nigerians wondered why. What exactly is creating this exacerbation, all right, in River State? Why does it seem like the court is involved in creating this political turmoil and escalating the tension in River State? Who will call the court to order? Who will call Nyesom Wike to order? Now, you recall that on several occasions, right? Nyesom Wike has always told people that he has no hand in what is going on in River State. He has always maintained that if you go to court, make sure you have a strong legal representative. That is, your lawyer understands the technicalities involved. Otherwise, if your case is not being won, or maybe you did not, compile something very strong, and then you lose, don't blame the judiciary. Don't say the judiciary has balkanized the political space. Don't say the judiciary is corrupt. Don't say the judiciary has been interested. He's always maintained that you should get a very good lawyer. But it's quite ironical with the inconsistent and conflicting judgments that has been coming from River State. Now, you remember that there were 27 lawmakers who defected, right? Now, these 27 lawmakers defected to the All Progressives Congress, although they did it verbally. Now, this was before the resolution that was agreed upon or supposedly impugned on Fubara, then when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu decided to intervene in the quagmire when an 8-point resolution was given. Now, in that particular regard, I recall at the time when Fubara had already written a petition to ensure that those defected lawmakers are no longer legally constituted as some states representatives within River State. So Fubara, trying to stay on with the agreement made, you understand, with the resolution that was agreed upon, decided to withdraw that petition. But these 27 defected lawmakers did not withdraw theirs. Theirs still remained in court. That was Fubara trying to live on with the peace pact. So he immediately withdrew it, trying to live on with the 8-point resolution as supposedly put together by the President, Nyesom Wike, the Chief of Defense Staff, sorry, not the Chief of Defense Staff, the NSA, that's Nuhu Ribado, and I think Secretary to the Government of the Federation, former River State Governor. These were members who were part of that resolution the day the President decided to personally intervene to resolve the conflict or the supposed political tension between Fubara and Nyesom Wike. But when Fubara decided to stay on with the resolution, apparently those defected lawmakers did not withdraw their own petition. And that is basically the point that is really hooking Fubara on the throat. This is basically what happened. So when the court gave that judgment, the court doesn't care about sentiment. It's all about evidence. What are you able to prove and how are you able to defend your case in court? So in this particular instance, since there is no petition in court against those defected lawmakers to ensure that their seats are indeed declared vacant, as they had verbally said they were defecting to the All Progressives Congress, well, those ones are deciding to say that they remain in the State House of Assembly. Their petition is in the court. And as their petition stipulates, they have petitioned that Fubara has no legal standing or no local standi to proceed by using state allocation without presenting the budget to a properly constituted State House of Assembly. In other words, the presentation that Fubara had done earlier when he was inaugurated with the 4 members who decided to stay with him is considered illegal. Now, the court had actually not given any disclosure or any ruling concerning the defected lawmakers. They're basically ruling based on what they have on the table in front of them. It's quite unfortunate, though, that the inconsistent judgments coming from the court there has kind of exacerbated the political tension in River State, making it obvious or seem like some persons are controlling the judgments of the courts in Rivers to the advantage of the supposed political bosses. And of course, this time around, it's Nyesom Wike and supposedly the fact that the president is part of it because he has not said anything concerning the quagmire going on in Rivers. Well, to cut the long story short, the court had actually banned and said that any more allocations coming to that state is illegal. They actually wrote to the Accountant General of the Federation. They also wrote to the banks, namely Zenith Bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria as well. They wrote that they should no longer, for now, continue to give allocations to the governor of Rivers State, that's Rivers State Governor Fubara or Rivers State in whole, until that budget is represented again to a full house, which includes the supposed 27 defected lawmakers. Well, the update now is this: the governor has actually said that due to the recent Federal High Court ruling in Abuja that barred the Central Bank of Nigeria from distributing federal allocations to the state, this, of course, was a judgment given by Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Abuja Federal High Court, which had declared that Governor Fubara's presentation of the 2024 budget before a four-member Rivers House of Assembly contradicted constitutional provisions, which the court has said Fubara has not been obeying court order and that it's illegal for anyone to think that they are above the law. She had criticized Fubara's ongoing receipt and use of monthly allocations since January. She called it constitutional violation and that it can no longer be permitted. She further ruled that the implementation of an unauthorized budget by Fubara amounted to a severe breach of the 1999 Constitution, and the ruling also prohibited the CBN Governor, Accountant General of the Federation, Zenith Bank, Access Bank from granting Fubara access to funds from the Consolidated Revenue and Federation account. So the court had actually reaffirmed the Amawuli-led assembly and that they remain the lawful legislative body as ruled by the Federal High Court and upheld by the Court of Appeal. So the government house in Port Harcourt saw heightened activity with various groups, government officials, People Democratic Party supporters, and other stakeholders, resulting in significant traffic in the vicinity. Well, in the government house, which involved the finance minister, Wali Edu, and other officials who were with the governor, Fubara at the time, also the state commissioner for information and communication, Joseph Johnson, they confirmed an appeal has been filed and expressed confidence that the appeal court would overturn the judgment. He stated that signs indicates the likely outcome were clear and they remain calm, having already challenged the Federal High Court's decision. So there's a lot of back and forth concerning the situation with Governor Fubara and Nyesom Wike and the court judgment. So the question that comes to mind is, what next for the people of Rivers? Salaries needs to be paid. The governor has ascertained that indeed Rivers State government workers' salaries will be paid. Obviously, they have other streams of generating revenue, which is internally generated revenue. I think that's what the state government intends to utilize in having to pay off staff salaries this month until the appeal that has been filed eventually comes through. So what does this court mean by stating actually that the Martins Amawuli-led faction are constitutionally recognized? That's because of the withdrawal that Fubara had withdrawn earlier, which should have delegitimized those defected lawmakers, pursued that case and come to a conclusion on it. So are we saying that we have supposed defected lawmakers actively having to pass laws and make decisions for River State Assembly, for River State in general, as River State committee members? Is that what it means? These members representing constituencies that flew their kite with the PDP, verbally defected to the APC, and they're still in charge of the government. Is that what the court is telling us, which contravenes the Constitution? I don't know what this means. I don't know what this will pretend. I don't know how this will actually help the situation in River State. But hey, that is the quagmire that we have currently seen ourselves at this point in time. The next one is concerning the IMF maintaining their stand on the advice given to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu despite the backlash from Nigerians. So the IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund, they have reiterated their support for the removal of petrol subsidy and the floating of the exchange rate by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, of course, Bretton Woods institutions since then had come under heavy backlash by Nigerians for advising the president on the present economic policies especially the removal of subsidy from PMS as well as the floating of the naira, which have plunged the country into inflationary pressures. Now, the IMF's African Regional Director Abebe Selassie, at a briefing on the sidelines of IMF and World Bank annual meetings, stated that the organization did not advise the president to remove fuel subsidy and that it was Tinubu's decision. They had nothing to do with the president's decision to remove fuel subsidy. But the IMF spokesperson, who actually spoke to Premium Times in response to its inquiry just yesterday, Wednesday, said the institute stands by its advice to the Tinubu-led government. They said it's important to underscore that individual pieces of that advice cannot be viewed in isolation, that a comprehensive policy package where all elements are linked to each other, that the package seeks to ensure macroeconomic stability and raise living standards in a sustainable fashion. The question is for this IMF, you know that in other countries or even in the Western world, there's subsidy in other aspects. There's subsidy in agriculture, there's subsidy in entrepreneurship, that is granting small loans to businesses that want to, grow and thrive. There's subsidy in every other aspect that could just help the lives of the citizens better. So why is that same measure not applied? Okay, agreed. Fuel subsidy is gone, right? Agreed. Let's understand the whole scenario or the whole cesspit of corruption and discrepancies involved in that sector. But how about choosing some vital sectors, subsidizing them, so Nigerians can just have a way to breathe, like the president had said during his campaign, let the poor breathe. Because you have literally widened the tax net, reduced the purchasing power, and continue to crunch on the stifling economic situation that Nigerians are grappling with. And you keep telling us to endure, you keep telling us to understand, you keep telling us that things will be better. This is the first time Nigeria is actually having a proper economic trajectory, a proper economic plan. It's quite unfortunate because it doesn't seem like it. The pains is more than the long oversight or the long-term proceeds you think we're going to benefit from it. So why don't you subsidize food? Why don't you subsidize agriculture? Why don't you subsidize small-scale businesses? All right, subsidize electricity. These are the vital sectors that makes an economy thrive. Maybe that way we can now understand that since there's no longer petrol subsidy, but there is subsidy in every other aspect that makes an economy grow or makes an economy strong, especially with a teeming population, then definitely we understand that you have something or there is somewhere you're heading with all of this. But none of that is in place. There is no subsidy in agriculture for now. You are saying you have some skill initiative or vocational skill initiative programs that you already have in place. We don't know when that will be active. We haven't seen that happening. We've just seen you collecting loans. We're not seeing the activity or viability of those loans being impacted. We're not hearing testimonials. We're not seeing any of that being rolled out. The National Orientation Agency is moribund. You have created divestment instead of investment because of the conflicting and fluctuating economic policies. Investment is not coming in as they ought to come in. So where do you want the common man to stand in this whole ordeal? How do you want people to have alternative source of income beyond the small salary they're having access to with the present companies they work with? Because the idea is whatever you save, what comes out of it, you can invest it in something that will give you an alternative source of income. So if that is not happening, what should the common man do? And the IMF is giving an advice considering the fact that in the Western world, there are measures to cushion the effect of most of this removal that they know would affect the people. But for Africa, we adopt everything, hook, line, and sinker. Nigeria, to be specific. Hey, let me think and let me know what you think in the comment section. Do like, subscribe, and share, and make sure that your comments are actually quite logical. All right, do have yourself an amazing day. Bye for now.